Hello and welcome to this new part of Super Danganronpa Another 2. Last time we investigated Terria's murder. And yeah. Now we gotta do the trial with very few people.
We'll miss you, Rainbow Boy. Shobai's not here to carry our dorks, so this is going to be rough.
Yes.
So I am like my hands are fucking shaking from how excited I am for this trial. So can't wait.
Alrighty, I guess we gotta talk to everyone.
Yes.
It's okay, you can do this. This is gonna be the last time we do this, right? Yeah, it has to be. Nothing. Everyone's so talkative today.
Our two voids are so suspicious right now. Anyway, let's go down. So excited. Man, that is such an empty elevator.
Yes.
The Twin Towers elevator heading down to the trial grounds looked exactly like the one at the Monocruise. But no one acknowledged that bizarre similarity, as there was only heavy silence among us. God damn it, Sora. Quit saying among us. Silence could be because of the fact there were so little of us left, but there was a sense of solemnness that we could all feel from the atmosphere. Granted, no one really talked during this period, but this time it felt like we couldn't talk even if we wanted to. After what felt like hours passed by, the elevator arrived at the trial grounds with the usual loud creak. Oh man, look at all the portraits, goddamn.
Yeah, and also rainbow curtains I see, huh?
Yeah, if that ain't insult to injury.
Yeah. What's up with the expensive looking curtains?
Now this is what I call good rework. Terria would have loved these curtains.
Screw you.
I love him, I'm sorry. He's so silly. He was pretty fond of rainbows after all. Welcome. Please move to your assigned seat. It will be the one with your name listed on it.
He isn't even looking in the right direction.
Please move to the seat with your name on it.
Let's move.
Mr. Monocles, I miss you.
What, was this place always suspicious? We've got more death portraits than we've got survivors. At least one of us will become a portrait after this is over.
Let's make sure to keep that number at 1. Oh, what a nice atmosphere we have here. This grandiose feeling. Don't you all get the feeling that we're in the endgame now? It's enough to make my... Identified secret code and avatar match. Class trial system now booting. I love the callback here because Mikado used to cut out Monocro and now Monocro because he's been reset is cutting off Mikado. Boot successful. Starting debug mode.
Debug mode?
Debug mode access successful.
For what?
Class trial will now commence. Class trial is about to start. It's already the 5th time. Tons of people have died, and many have lost their lives through the class trial. Peria, this case's victim. A member of the Kisaragi Foundation and the classmate of Akane Taira, but she doesn't know anything about the Foundation. What was he trying to do as the representative of the Kisaragi Foundation? What info did he have for us? Fortunately for us, he took that information to his grave, and we never got to know his true intentions. The only thing left for us to do is to find his killer and make sure his death won't be in vain. God, the screens. Everyone Everyone's fucking blacked out! Ugh. Putting aside the hundreds of problems we had to deal with to escape this place, we now had to set our first priority. The class trial. Trial of life or death. A lie of life or death. Betrayal of life or death. I love that showing Shobai's here, like, he's alive, he's just not fucking active.
Yeah.
Like, that's a nice detail. Thank you, Laneige. The explanation of life and death. The excuse of life or death. Trust of life or death. And then this screen is just funny to me because
Yeah.
it shows the last three of them on it. Life or death. Class trial.
Man, I would never be able to write something as corny as this.
I know. Like, Laneige, I love you, but please.
I mean, it's also in the original games, but still, it's so corny.
That's true. Save time. At fucking almost 69 hours, are you? Alright. So... adjust it how you would like. Just make sure that if we have crosshair dash, not to enable it. I don't think we have it yet, because I don't think Sora's high enough level, but it's fine. I think that's all we got.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Alright.
All
You need to
right.
review the evidence before we go in there, or is it still fresh enough for you?
We didn't have any accounts this time, yeah?
No, we just had, the alibi list from, Yoriko.
Yeah, I know.
Account.
Then that's alright. I don't really need a
Alright.
refresher on that.
Alright. Let's go.
Yeet.
First, let me give a basic explanation of the class trial. The result of this class trial will be decided by your votes. If you choose the correct Blackens, only they will receive punishment. But if you vote the wrong person...
Is that an F?
okay.
On
I
Nikei's
get to
portrait?
explain this. No. It's a Korean symbol. It's the Korean symbol for laughter.
Ah.
So this is basically Mikado writing LOL over and over again on Nikei's portrait.
Wow.
Yeah, he's an asshole. It's great. I love him. It's so funny. People redraw that all the time and it makes me giggle.
I first thought it was like something like press F to pay respects or something.
Yeah, it's a Korean symbol for laugh. It's the Korean symbol laughing. I had that same question when I first saw it. I was like, huh? But anyway. And everyone else besides the Blackened will be punished, and the Blackened, who has fooled everyone, will graduate from this school trip.
Honestly, I'm still not used to this new version of Monochrome.
Shobai not participating, there's only 5 of us here.
Not much brain cells to go around.
Really. And someone among us here has murdered Teria.
How many among us do we have in this one goddamn recording session already? At least 3.
At least 2 or 3. We need to find the culprit and clear this class trial. If we don't, there's no future waiting for us. If we put our heads together, we can do this. Just like we've always done. Well then, please start the discussion.
I mean, this ain't any need to. We already know who the culprit is. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
What? We do? Mikado Sanoji, you are the only possible suspect in this case.
Oh, cutting right to the chase, are we? Well, I've been basically called the killer every trial so far, so it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. But to suspect me without any real evidence... I thought we've already learned time and time again that we need to discuss things thoroughly before pointing fingers.
Too bad, cause I got evidence this time.
Oh boy.
While the murder was happening, everyone except you and Shobai were together, you see? That's right, hence the only suspects were Shobai and you, Mikado. Too bad that Teria could have died God knows when, so...
Exactly. Don't have a time of death, guys.
But yeah, they are not thinking in terms of accomplices, so...
No, not yet, they're not.
That's right, hence the only suspects were Shobai and you, Mikado. But according to you, Shobai is not participating in this trial.
So does everyone except me have alibis then? But if we follow that logic, Sora's a possible suspect as well, no? Wait, what?
Are you trying to make fun of us? We just told you that Sora was with us the whole time.
Not quite. But was she really with you the whole time?
What?
Sure, I wasn't there when you found the body, and I only arrived at the crime scene long after the body discovery announcement. That I will admit. But every one of you were split apart until you saw that video and decided to head to the broadcasting room.
What? How did you know that video?
Sora, Yoriko, and Yuki, who were all in Sora's room, had each split up. And while they were alone, the mysterious video was broadcasted on every monitor in Higa City. After witnessing such horror, you each guessed the room in the video had to be the West Broadcasting Room, and headed there. In other words, the time you were together was only after you gathered at the Twin Towers. He makes a valid point, though.
He does. How do you know about all of those details?
I heard it directly from Sora, of course. Isn't that right, dear?
Man, snitch.
I'm going to have so much fun with him. While I was unfortunate enough to not arrive at the crime scene on time to learn about the case, I thought to myself, don't I have the right to at least know what had happened?
So you say you didn't know? The nerve of telling such lies. You're the culprit and we all know it.
I won't be so sure about that, Yoriko. More importantly, I have concrete evidence for why I am suspecting Sora.
You're really trying to shift it on Sora, eh? Meh.
I love their chemistry. It's so fucking fun. He's such a jerk. I love him. Would you care for a duel?
You're not starting with that, are you? You're not starting with it. No!
Yes, he is! I'm pretty good at this, right? Let me preface this by saying I'm not doing this out of spite, Sora. By all means, I would have loved to take everything cautiously, step by step, to find the culprits. But when Yoriko starts off the trial by suspecting me of all people, I've got no choice but to rebuttal, don't you agree? But can you even fight against my rebuttal, I wonder?
Oh no, I hate this minigame.
I know, I'm sorry. I love him, but he's a little shit for doing this at the start. I'm sorry.
Yes. Oh, these are
I will
always...
not be able to I will not be able to read his voice lines though, because this shit's gonna go way too fast.
Alibi, connecting bridge, monochrome, fire 5. Oh boy. Okay, there was nothing there.
What's the point of this? I'm obviously not the culprit. If nobody has an alibi... I hate how fast it goes. Help me!
And Yoriko to the east, and yet... I couldn't read one.
Alright. Because my summary is at the end anyway. To see Mikado suspecting so much is a little unsettling. I need to consider the timing of things, and then I'm sure I'll be able to refute him.
Timing?
It's the alibi list, if you,
Yeah.
if you need a hint. Because this hint's very vague.
Yes. Everyone's alibi is empty.
You were supposed to shoot that one.
That one?
For the work. Kind of annoying that it's that early, but okay.
Yeah, a little.
I was like, is she gonna be quick enough to do this? He managed.
I decided to just ignore anything else.
You were like, I will do this long enough to stay alive, and then I'm notching this fucking arrow.
Yes.
That's respectable, because this minigame sucks.
It does. If they're gonna show the right weak spot at the start, then I'm just gonna ignore anything else.
Mm-hmm. That's valid. So let me get this straight, Mikado. Immediately after Yuki and Yoriko left the west area, I headed straight to the broadcasting room, the film, oh my god, hello? To film that video. Okay, that's the typo, alright. I headed straight to the broadcasting room to film that video. Precisely!
Really? That's the face
I'm sorry.
you drew on poor Terrier. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's a little shit. I'm sorry. He's really so funny though, please.
Man.
He's such an asshole, but I love him. Rina, please at least admit that he's entertaining, because he is.
Yeah, he is, but why would you do that?
Because he's a jerk! I'll give credit where credit is due. Your logic is indeed sound. I did have the time and resources to broadcast that video.
Sora, what are you saying?
Odd, Yoriko, let her finish. However, that also applies to you, doesn't it? Between the two of us, I'd say you're the one with the more suspicious alibi. You're trying to make it sound like our alibis don't matter and we're all suspects. But at least the four of us can prove that we were in locations we said we're in our alibis. However, not a single person even saw or knew where you were during the incident. From our perspective, Mikado, you have zero concrete info about your alibi. To use your own words, aren't you in the perfect condition to commit this crime?
Sora's right. Both Yoriko and I can prove where we were in the east and south areas respectively through our key card histories. Iroha proved her alibi by meeting up with Yoriko.
That's right. I was running towards the west area after watching the broadcast when I met Yoriko.
Yeah, that much I'm certain of.
Can you prove you were in some other place when the video was being broadcasted? More importantly, even the people in the south and east areas managed to arrive at the crime scene on time. Yet you arrived way after the announcement was made. What made you so busy, I wonder?
Good question.
As you've established, our alibis are not concrete. I might have easily committed this murder, as I was readily in the west area. But if we go by that logic, you, whose alibi is non-existent, are pretty suspicious as well. Actually, I'd say you'd be in the best position to murder than any of us. You're most absolutely right. Then let's not forget about this crucial information.
What? Are you for real now? You went all in saying that Sora's the culprit and then you think you can get out scot-free?
I mean, didn't I say from the start? I wanted to find the culprit step by step, from one clue to another. But I had no choice but to present my rebuttal when you accused me of murder out of nowhere.
What do you mean, out of nowhere? I said that because you are the culprit.
Yoriko.
What's up, Sora?
Let's stop that train of thought for now. I'm not trying to cover for Mikado, but there are other discussions that need to be held right now.
Yep.
Yeah, like, Sora wants to make sure they don't miss any fucking clues and shit. And honestly, just narrowing in on one portion of the discussion is not going to do anyone any favors. I also think the Mikado is suspicious. But there is no need to rush things. We can point fingers after we discuss everything thoroughly, right?
I guess you're right. Sorry, Sora.
Wait, I basically said the same thing. Why listen to her but not me?
Well,
Sweetheart,
why not
babes.
think about that?
Bun, why do you think? Why do you think they would not value your word over hers? Come on, babes, you're smarter than that.
Hey, Mikado. Would you mind just shutting up and stop pretending that you're helping?
I'm sorry, but sometimes Yuki's sass I actually kind of respect. Because sometimes my husband deserves a good dunking, and that was good. I'm just like, you know what? For once, Yuki, I will thank you for something funny, because that was hilarious. I fucking forgot about that line. It's such a good line from him.
It is. You didn't even participate in the other class trial discussions. Trying to be active in this trial only makes you all the more suspicious, you know?
Wait! No, you've got it all wrong. I've always tried my best in the trials. And he has. They just don't let him talk.
Yeah, but it's true that he never really got a true big moment, so to say.
Okay, no, but in the minigames he has helped Sora. He has actually contributed, people just aren't acknowledging it, and also everyone else up to this point would not let him speak, and now they're not letting him speak again, which that kind of fucking sucks. He's trying, please!
It's the consequences of your own actions.
Yeah. God, I love him, but it's true. It's just that every time I spoke, I was rudely ignored by everyone, which is true.
Yeah.
People would also take his own testimonies and say it themselves, and then they would get the recognition. And the Mikado would just sit there and whine, because it's like, I just fucking said that! And honestly, babes, I understand.
Whatever. How about we start talking about the case more in depth?
About the case, then when should we start?
Let's hold that question of who's the culprit for now, and try to reimagine how the case went down step by step. So the summarization of the case. I see. I'll do my best to cooperate.
How the hell are you going to help at all? You weren't even there when it all happened.
But I at least heard basics of what happened from Sora. Yoriko, we all agree that Mikado is unbearable, but for this case only, how about we give him a chance to talk? Above all, we only have 5 participants for this trial. With that low a number, every word spoken from every person here should count.
Well, if you say so, then alright.
So it is agreed that I can speak freely then. Well then. First and foremost, I think we can all agree that this case started with that broadcast. He's right. The video of the mysterious someone approaching the Efhena with the knife in the West broadcasting room. Let's talk about that video which started it all.
Yeah, non-stop debate.
I think I should be fine.
Alrighty.
Non-stop debate aren't exactly science.
Nah, they're not hard. It's mostly just like dissecting what everyone says and throwing the right thing at things. Thingamathongas. I think Yoriko's count was the, Video was broadcasted around 7 p.m. As previously established, none of us have alibis during this time period.
So, what's in the west area, Yuki in the east?
Oh, I was in the north area in case you were curious.
Immediately after watching that video, everyone except Mikado headed straight to the top floor. But the door was locked and so none of us were able to enter.
We eventually broke the door down and entered the room. But after the sprinkler incident, Terria was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, and when we entered the East broadcasting room to search for him, we found the door was locked. Terria was in there, being stabbed to death. Stabbed to death? Ah, I know.
What was the state Terria's body was in? Someone said something odd about that. I need to recall how this case went down
Yes.
regarding that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
you already have the
yes,
answer. I don't have to say
yes,
anything.
yes, yes.
Excellent.
Sorry, Yuki, but that was not what happened.
Mans, in all fairness, did not look closely at the body, so...
He didn't strip him.
Hey, we're at 69 hours! Let's go! That's funny, for this case at least. Hold on, Yuki. Teria wasn't stabbed to death.
Huh? But there was a stab wound on his chest. The monochrome file didn't describe any other injuries, and I checked it out myself.
Of course, there were no other injuries. That's because he died by poisoning.
What?
The tip of Teria's fingers and toes had turned blue. There was also pinkish spots near his thighs and back. These are telltale signs of poisoning, to be precise. Cyanide poisoning at that. Oh my!
You could tell that just from those marks? That's amazing, Sora.
Don't you dare give Yoriko credit, don't you dare- Damn it! I had help from Yoriko. I'm not reading the line exactly like that. Fuck you, it's not happening.
I don't know it that well myself. It's not like I actually studied medicine. I just heard it from some crazy drunk doctor that wandered into a joint once.
Still call bullshit. I have my fair share of medical knowledge, and I agree to your observations. Cyanide is a chemical suffocant, so to speak. It's a poison that prevents any living being from breathing properly. From the cyanosis to the pink spots, they're all signs of oxygen depletion. Wonderful work. I'm not saying her name.
Coming from you, even a compliment sounds disgusting.
God, y'all are so picky.
Wait, if Teria was poisoned to death, what? Then how come that video showed someone holding a knife?
Red herring.
Yes.
Or was it someone else? Something else.
Well, as I said before, there were knife wounds on his chest. Perhaps the culprit poisoned Teria and created a stab wound on the dead corpse. It could also, you know, be like the weird trick where someone dying, the last person who hurt them, ends up the culprit and stuff.
That's possible.
Could be something like that.
Could be. If Shobai was here, he would have been able to determine if the knife wound was made before or after Teria was killed. Now, before we get into that, there's the whole other riddle that needs to be solved. Poisoning is a quite inconspicuous method of murder.
Yeah, where the heck did it come from?
Yet the killer announced their crimes knowingly using the broad. When you think about why you would choose to poison someone to get rid of them, the killer's little talent show becomes a bit contradictory, wouldn't you agree?
Depends.
It could be a way of bragging. Like, ooh, he's already dead. Look at me, I'm gonna kill him, but he's actually already dead, ooh.
And I mean, if the knife wound really was like the last step, so to say, then it mustn't have been from the same person, so...
Yeah, something like that, I think.
Huh, you've got a point. It was as if they were saying, come and stop me if you can.
Oh, her and I are actually same brain cells on something. Disgusting.
Though it wouldn't have even mattered because cyanide is like... can't really do shit about it.
Nah. Isn't it, like, also pretty fast acting, too?
Yeah, like... I don't think... I mean, I only know stuff from Detective Conan, and there it's often very much almost instantaneous.
I used to have this resource post saved because I'm a writer. Let me preface that I am a writer, so of course I researched methods of death for writing. Thank you. That used to have like a list of poisons on it and like how they kill and like the side effects and shit like that. And I remember it also listed like the timings for each one, like how long it takes. I cannot remember it for the life of me, and I also can't find that post anymore, and it makes me sad because it was a very useful resource for me when I was writing stuff like that.
I always keep stuff like that in my Tumblr likes. I only like things as a reference, nothing else.
I need to be better about doing that because my Tumblr and I'm dying.
Okay, here's my theory. Maybe it was the culprit's intention all along to gather us at the West Broadcasting Room. Sounds smart.
Sounds probable too.
What do you mean?
Recall that the West Broadcasting Room was locked from the inside. But what if the killer wanted to emphasize specifically that fact to everyone by having a broadcast be sent to the whole island? And if we think about that way, holding a knife leaves a much stronger impact than just holding some poison, right?
Then what would be the point of creating a locked room and telling everyone about it?
To waste time?
Probably.
Or to obscure alibis in the first place?
Possibly.
When we broke down the lock and entered the broadcasting room, we didn't see anyone inside, right? What? But that doesn't make any sense. How could there be a locked room if there was nobody inside?
Then that means... It seems that the culprit laid out this incredible locked room mystery for us to solve. They say every good mystery fiction almost always features one. Even Emma used it back then, remember? The broadcast wasn't the main show. It was just a small teaser to lure everyone to the crime scene. Before we talk about who did it, it seems like we need to solve this locked room mystery. Locked room mystery. A room that can only be locked from the inside. And only the dead victim was inside when we unlocked it. Except that the locked side is the painting side.
Yep.
The other side was not locked, and that's where his body actually was. Mysterious person inside the video had somehow vanished from the locked West Broadcasting Room. And now we have to put our heads together to figure out how that happened.
Why are you giving me the explanation again? Not that they are suddenly doing the whole taking someone's words and using them against them or something again.
No, not this one.
Doesn't seem like it.
I do not think that's this one.
When we had gathered in front of the West Broadcasting Room's entrance, was the culprit already not inside the broadcasting room?
That seems to be the case. But there was barely any time for that. How did they lock the room and escape during that time period?
Oh, I know! What we saw wasn't live footage. I don't think so. That was definitely live footage. Then the video was being broadcasted, someone was definitely inside.
Then doesn't it just leave us with Mikado?
Me? That's outrageous. Didn't I just say that the video was being broadcast to everyone alone? There's a lot required for the locked room mystery to work. I need to think about what I've investigated so far.
Okay, but Kenna, is that even relevant? What Iroha said? Because Yoroko immediately shut it down?
Yeah, it's still relevant.
Okay.
I'll just give you that answer. It's still relevant. So it is the broadcasting room cameras there. That's why
Alrighty
it's
then.
that's why it's highlighted to still be disputable, is because you can dispute it.
Hmm.
Kinda confusing, but yeah.
I guess we just explain it properly.
Yeah, I guess so. I think so. I mean, there's only 16 trial points this trial, so...
Hmm.
No, Iroha, that video has to be live. During our investigation, we've confirmed that the broadcasting room can only transmit live footage.
Is that so?
It's not really a surveillance camera, you see. If it has a database, it would actually be able to record and store videos, but unfortunately, our broadcasting room lacks any of it.
That means when that video was being broadcasted at that moment, someone was in the West broadcasting room.
What is it, Iroha? You've been staring at me for quite a while now.
Huh?
Is there something you have to say?
No.
If there's something you want to say, then you should feel free to say it, Iroha. This is a class trial, after all. We can only proceed if we share our thoughts.
Well, the thing is, when you first arrived on the top floor of the West Twin Tower, there wasn't anyone there, right?
Yeah, there wasn't anyone when I arrived. But what about that?
Then couldn't you have, well, locked and left the room and then pretended you just arrived there?
No, and my reasoning for that is because of the mechanism I explained to you earlier. With the film reel.
Yeah, and also, like, what Iroha is saying doesn't really make any sense.
It's also not smart. So there's that.
Locked and left the room. How?
She's not smart.
How?
She's not smart, Rina. What?
Try and say that again, Iroha. Trying to excuse her, I just, thought it might be possible.
So you're basically trying to say Sora's the culprit.
I didn't say that.
What do you mean you didn't? The person in the video was Sora. That's what you're trying to say, aren't you?
Now that was a surprising remark, considering it came from Iroha of all people. As I said before, I completely agree with Iroha. You would never! Do not lie to me! There is no way in hell!
Man.
I love him, but oh my god, don't do this. You said you were all together after you gathered at the top floor of the West Building? That means it's entirely possible for Sora to do the deed, create the locked room mystery, and then regroup with everyone. Let's not forget that Sora was also conveniently in the West area when the crime happened.
So you're gonna fight in pairs, huh? Well, bring it on, then.
I, for one, regrouped with everyone. We don't know a thing about what you did or where you were during the murder. Do you think you have a right to suspect me? Might I remind you that I was in the north area, I didn't have enough time to do anything. No one can vouch for you. And how are you going to prove that? Yuki and Yoriko's alibis can be proven with the keycard histories. Iroha was seen by Yoriko. Even if you say you were in the north area, it means nothing if you have no witness to prove it. Well, that I have nothing to say. How unfortunate it is that there's nothing that can prove my alibi, isn't it?
Mikado, you've been trying to pin the murder on Sora ever since the trial started. Don't you think that's very unlike you? Never once did you suspect a specific individual. Are you perhaps panicking?
You took the words right out of my mouth, Yuki.
What?
You're the ones who aren't acting like yourselves. Answer me. What happened in between these two trials that made you believe Sora is a saint who's never lied? Once in her life. The last 4 trials were all carried on through logical deduction and through discussions, without personal feelings, that is. I won't say that I'm not a suspect, but there is no real proof that Sora is innocent as well.
I mean, you know what you guys have been doing this entire time? Derailing the goddamn class, try to pin stuff on Sora. That's like...
I mean, listen, he's bored, and he actually has her attention for once. Let him have fun.
He's contradicting himself.
No, I know, but he's having fun.
That's...
Have you all forgotten? Once you rely on personal feelings, they will eventually cloud your judgment, preventing us from finding the real culprits.
Don't put on that mask when you are saying something incredibly lame that is self-contradicting.
Also, fun fact, his mask is the thing that emotes. He never changes it. It emotes by itself.
Okay, I guess it's also virtual word thingy.
It is virtual world thingy, you're right. And also, he passed it off initially because he's the ultimate wizard. So magic. I love him, but he's a dork. All I want to say is that anyone can be a culprit. I know how much you all hate me, but I would prefer if you didn't look on me with such jaundiced eyes.
But Sora would never... Don't acknowledge
shut up
him.
with your nest. Why are you starting with your yes man shit? I mean, like, I would respect your defense a little more if you had some evidence to, like, defend her. Like, yes, the player knows that Sora did nothing. However, dear, you do not.
Nah, the first thing I would say is really just... You're contradicting yourself.
Yeah, true.
You're doing...
That's a more, like, productive way to go about this argument. Yes, I agree with that. But I'm just like, I'm looking at like Yuki and Yoriko, and I'm like, do you guys have anything better to say other than Sora would never do that? Like, fucking contribute to the trial then. And like prove to him that she wouldn't. Like, we know she wouldn't, but you need to prove it to everyone else that she would not do that.
I guess we'll see.
Yoriko, calm down. As much as I hate to admit it, he's right that my alibi isn't perfect.
Sora.
It's alright. The truth will reveal itself eventually. Isn't that right, Mikado? Of course, I apologize for derailing our discussion with my short pep talk. Let us continue our talk about the locked room mystery. Also, it's kind of Iroha's fault. She started it.
Yeah.
He just kind of, like, dug in there because he's bored and he wants something to do.
So, Iroha just suspected Sora of locking the broadcasting room herself, pretending she just arrived there. But that isn't as easy as it sounds.
The door to my room locks itself up when I activate the lock and then close the door. You know, one time I lost the key to a door to one of my rooms and I couldn't get in that room for like forever.
What is she even talking about? I guess it's Iroha we're talking about here.
Yeah, she has no fucking clue about the lock. How it works.
She's so fucking dumb. She's so funny, but she's so stupid.
Yes.
Sure, you can create a locked room by activating a lock from inside and then closing the door on the outside. But that wasn't possible with the broadcasting room because... You know the answer to this.
Yes.
Iroha, the broadcasting door is probably different from the ones you're thinking of. It's not a button-based lock mechanism, but a lever-based one. One that is locked upon holding the door down with a lever. In other words, you can only lock the door only after completely shutting the door. I see. So if we were to try what Iroha suggested by locking the door, then shutting it, you wouldn't be able to shut it at all.
Yep.
Correct. Hence why it becomes a contradiction where there was nobody in the broadcasting room when it was locked. Forget the alibis. Just solving how the culprit even managed such a feat is an issue right now.
This hurts my brain.
The fact of the matter is, the door was indeed locked with nobody inside the room, right?
This is proving to be quite a riddle that the culprit has posed. What method did the culprit actually use to achieve this?
Another non-stop debate.
Dum 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 dum. How did the culprit create a locked room? Maybe to lock the door they used a special tool outside?
There certainly are not a lot of props in the storage room to assist in such an act.
Or perhaps there was another exit we didn't know about? What do you mean? Sora mentioned a window being broken, remember?
Oh, they broke the window and escaped. They did lock the door from the inside, but they just escaped from the locked room through the window.
Wouldn't they just fall to death? Did you forget how high up the Twin Towers actually were?
No matter what method the culprit used to create the locked room, there must be some evidence left over. It can't be that complex. It's probably something that was right in front of us the whole time.
So should I just ignore Iroha spouting nonsense again?
No, she is the person you have to debunk.
Sora didn't certainly help with that comment.
No, I know. She's being very, very vague with her hints. You're not lined up. There you go.
Stupid sensitive.
I know, but the ring tells you if you're lined up or not when it glows like that, and it wasn't glowing. No, Iroha, I don't think that's the case. I first thought of that as a possibility, but if you would actually fall from that height, you would definitely fall to your death.
They could have used ropes to climb down, like they do in movies.
A skyscraper through a broken glass window with jagged shards?
Bad
Girly
idea.
pop! Girly pop, you are so stupid.
And besides, this is a virtual world. Who knows, you might survive from falling, like if you face through the floor or something.
Girly pop. Yeah, me too, Sora. Me too. Iroha, you're so funny, but you're so dumb.
Oh, wait, no. I'm not saying you're suspicious because you've done that before. Oh, please don't take it the wrong way.
Quit it, Iroha. There's zero possibility of that happening. I also considered it plausible and tried throwing out stuff the window, but it actually fell to the ground. Looks like the Tower of Babel was just an anomaly.
And why did the culprit break the window?
Well...
Why did the culprit break the window? Did they only do it to make us think they escaped through the window? What? Was that it? No, the reason they broke the window was because they needed to, and the proof of that is...
The only thing connected to glass is... burnt scrap paper, actually.
Yes. It is, actually.
But why?
It'll...
It
It does mention glass, like, in the description, so...
Yes. But
Perhaps it was because they needed some glass powder?
is it just for friction?
Really?
Glass powder? What are you talking about?
Found some lying around in the West Broadcasting Room, more specifically on some burnt scrap of paper. The window is made out of glass, right? Maybe the powder was the reason they broke the window. A plausible theory, yes, but why would they even sprinkle glass powder onto the paper in the first place?
Burnt? Powder? Glass? That's it! That's it, Sora! What's it, Yoriko? There was something bugging me when we were all investigating together. But now it all makes sense. I'll help you out, Sora. Ah, the thing.
He's giving you bullets.
Remember the thing I told you about in the broadcasting room? I didn't know what it was for back then, but maybe this is the key to solving the locked room mystery. I think I just had to dodge.
You just have, yeah, you just have to dodge the white and pick up the bullets. That's it.
Meh.
Ow.
I don't
Oh
care.
God, at the bottom. Nice. Okay, you're good.
Tape residue?
Nope.
Projector film?
Correct.
それに先生です
Nice.
Alrighty.
I get it, Yoriko. It's a projector film, isn't it? The powder that was on that film.
Projector film? Yep, as I expected, the powder that was on the film was yellow phosphorus. The glass powder was used to create friction with the yellow phosphorus to cause a fire. What, fire? And what was that thing you said before? Yellow phosphorus?
It's a chemical commonly that was used in matches and such back in the day. Its low burning point made it quite dangerous to use, eventually leading to its discontinuation.
How would the culprit get their hands on it then? Same question for the cyanide.
That's true. Where would you get those?
You get all these chemicals from, bro?
It's actually easier than you think. This island is a city, and there's literally a place for everything here. We didn't really see those places, but okay.
We didn't, but I guess that's the loophole of like, I guess everything's available because we're in a city. Anyway. That being said, I didn't expect you to have such knowledge on Nope. I fucked up. Hold on. That being said, I didn't expect you to have such knowledge on chemistry, Yoriko.
It's pretty much obvious to anyone who actually paid attention and can ask.
Yes, but you? Doubt.
Okay, but how did they cause friction between them? And if a fire really had occurred, how come nobody noticed it?
And another question I might add, what does the fire have anything to do with the locked room mystery again?
Sprinklers.
Sprinklers.
It certainly does, and thanks to Yoriko, it's thanks to Yoriko that we found this out. I'm lying, I'm not giving her compliments. The important part isn't the yellow phosphorus, the glass powder, nor the sprinklers. We have to focus on is the projector film itself. Was used to create the locked room mystery.
The projector film itself?
Iroha, you asked how the culprit was able to create friction between those two flammable materials, right? It was from the ceiling. It was because it all occurred from the ceiling that we weren't able to notice it, as we were busy looking at Teria and the horrifying visual.
To be precise, it had to do with the sprinklers. The sprinklers in the broadcasting room were shaped like a ring, so you would be able to hang something on it.
Now hold on just a minute. You're not actually going to suggest that they actually hung the film onto the sprinklers, are you? Why would they opt for such a cumbersome method?
He's right. And the broadcasting room ceiling was super high. You could use a ladder, but there wasn't even anyone to use the ladder.
Obviously, it was prepared beforehand.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that. Even with the ceiling high and nobody there, the fire was going to automatically occur once we entered the broadcasting room. What? Didn't you all hear what Sora's been trying to say? That was why the projector film was used. They specifically used an old-fashioned film projector that had to go through a loop.
Yoriko's right. This locked room mystery was possible only because it was an old-fashioned film projector. The proof that the projector film was used, the evidence found on the door should be the key. Probably the tape?
Tape residue?
Yeah, I think so. The lock on the broadcasting room's door had tape on it.
Tape? Wait a minute. Oh, so that's how it is.
What? I didn't quite get that. What about it?
Simply put, this is what happens. There's a diagram for you of what I tried to explain earlier, but anyway. I pulled out the film from the projector to make it go through the sprinklers on the ceiling. And they taped it onto the door's lock. Then they sprinkled yellow phosphorus onto the film and positioned the scrap of paper with the glass powder in between the sprinklers and the film. Yeah. Now what would happen if the projector was turned on at this point? Well, I imagine the film would start rolling. Correct. The projector will start pulling the film inwards. With that, the locked lever's orientation becomes horizontal from vertical due to the film pulling it.
I get it now. So using this method, you'll be able to lock the door automatically, just by turning the projector on and leaving the room with the door closed.
Yeah. Yes, and the great thing about this trick is that this state is preserved until someone opens the door. The film won't roll anymore due to the tape on the lock holding it steady. I see. Indeed, this trick is magnificent. But how would you exactly be able to cause a fire from this mechanism?
Simple. The film just has to resume rolling. The locked door cannot be unlocked and opened by normal means, so someone has to eventually break the door down. And that's exactly what happened. When the door gets destroyed, the film is no longer held still by tape. So the film will begin rolling again.
Exactly. And because the culprit had set it up so that film went through the sprinklers, it will naturally move through them when it retracts. On that film, the culprit had sprinkled yellow phosphorus on the sprinklers, and the paper with glass powder on it is attached to it. Now, what do you imagine would happen if the film grazes the paper at high speeds?
Whee!
Flames?
Yep, and that's how they created friction to cause the fire.
When we had broken into the broadcasting room, there was this weird video casted on Teria's body, remember? That wasn't just for show. That was the video on the film being played right as we destroyed the tape holding it.
Ah.
Yep.
Of course, there was also the purpose of misguiding our attention in that dark room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so the sprinklers had activated immediately because the flame it had detected was right beneath it. That was the reason why we were showered with water soon after we had entered.
Yep.
How's that? We now solved the locked room mystery.
Mikado, are you, Amazing! I applaud your detective skills. I most sincerely do. And to think I was worried you wouldn't make it without Shobai. Oh, how you all have grown.
Marveling because someone solved your riddle, huh? You really are psycho, you know that? Mean word.
It is a mean word, and also not really well placed, if I'm honest. Oh no, you've got it all wrong. I was genuinely astonished by your intellect, you see. We'll know soon whether Mikado's the culprit or not, when we talk this through. Now that we've solved the locked room mystery, it's finally time to talk about the culprits. Hold on! Well, we did solve the mystery of how they locked the door and escaped. Aren't there still other matters to solve first?
Yeah, like, why did you see Osiria there?
Exactly.
Huh, getting feisty, are we? Trying to tug on every little detail in hopes of something? No, Yoroko, he's right. What? The locked room mystery has been solved, sure. We've proved that it's possible to lock the door without anyone being inside the broadcasting room. But about that, there actually was someone inside the broadcasting room. Terria. Oh!
That reminds me.
Terria had disappeared from the room when we re-entered the room after the sprinklers were turned off. Right? So how did that happen?
It's probably the sprinklers, like, you know, how the sprinklers were strong enough to blind our sights with water, right? They used that to move Terria while we weren't looking. Why else would they utilize the sprinklers into their plan? Nah.
Nah.
That would be...
Correct, nah.
I mean... Being blinded is one thing. Carrying a whole ass tree-sized person right in front of everyone out of the room is another thing.
It's also only physically possible for Sora or Mikado to do that, because they are the only ones left on this cast that are somewhat strong. And in Mikado's case, he's actually physically weaker than Sora. Mikado's physicality strength here, for anyone curious who hasn't read the Q&As and his bio, he has the average strength of a basically a young adult high school student. Yeah, so he's a bit lanky. But Sora, however, can crush an apple with her bare hands. Specifically one hand, kind of like Akane, but yeah.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. It also makes sense as to why Terria was able to overpower him in Chapter 4, because, obviously Terria's stronger. Physically, anyway. Yoriko, that's impossible. Whatever method they used, if Terria had been moved out of the broadcasting room, he would have certainly passed us while we were waiting in front of the door.
If it's not outside the broadcasting room, then maybe he was inside the storage. Both broadcasting rooms had storage rooms, right? Maybe there was a secret passageway between those two rooms? That sure would have been cool, but no.
I can guarantee you that there was none of the sort. The bridge is the only thing that connects those two buildings. And even that was unusable due to bugs.
Well, we couldn't exactly check it now, could we?
Yeah, and whose fault was that, babes? Looking at you. You see, you were all presuming a logical fallacy. From the proposition of someone moved Teria away to hold, someone else needs to be inside the broadcasting room. And doesn't that invalidate the whole purpose of solving the locked room mystery? It ain't a locked room mystery if the culprit was actually inside the whole room.
Some people would disagree with that.
It's true, but yeah, the point he's making here works for this case anyway.
So, what do we suggest we do? How did Teria disappear?
I love that this entire argument is Mikado pointed out that they're focusing on the wrong thing. Because Terria's body was in the other building. That's what he's trying to point out to them, and they're locked on the fact that, like, no, he was in this room. Because they can't fucking figure out that it was paint on the wall, but whatever.
I mean, it is a bit much to assume that, actually.
I mean, if you paid close attention to the fucking tarps on the ground, it kind of gives it away. It's all paint stained, and it wasn't there before.
If only they actually looked at those.
If only they had brain cells. God, I wish. The only one with brain cells in this room is my husband here. Anyway, moving on. So now do you get what the problem is here? If we suppose your locked room mystery theory is true, then you're saying that Teria disappeared out of thin air. Everyone, don't tell me you're all stuck. Now this is a predicament. At this rate, we'll never even find out what method the culprit used, let alone who they are.
Then use a head instead of leaving everything to us. All you do is complaining.
I mean, you did tell him to shut up and not speak earlier. Both of you did, you and Yuki, so it kind of makes sense why he's a little hesitant. Well, it's kind of hard to say anything when every single person in here is suspecting you.
You know, it would be easier to not suspect you if you actually proposed right solutions.
Sweetheart, dear, you have to talk them out of suspecting you. If you just tack on to what they're saying, that's not really arguing your case here.
Yep.
That'd take a little bit more initiative, my dear. But that's not his thing.
Shut up, Mikado. Can't you see we're trying to think here? Jeez.
Yuki, I'm gonna slap you. Let him talk. Case in point, you all saw that, didn't you? Why would I say anything if this is what happens all the time?
I knew we needed Shobai after all.
Iroha, shut up. Like, you're contributing even less.
Yeah.
Like, don't start.
She only contributes weak points.
She's, like, derailing the trial in herself and giving, like, the wrong answers. But that's par for the course with her, because she's just that dumb.
If he was here, we wouldn't be.
Shobai. We didn't particularly like him, but without him, we wouldn't have come this far.
I like him.
I like him too, he's funny.
Yes.
Mikado's still my favorite, but he's funny. Oh, it's not just him. Yeah. Kokoro, Kanade, we're all standing here because the help of those who are no longer with us. Really funny that you're remembering Kanade fondly right now.
She did contribute a shit ton.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got the 3 smartest people on cast right here. Well, Yuri too. I forget. Yuri's also one of the smarter people on cast. You just don't get to see it in trials.
Yeah, he never had a chance.
He did not have the chance. There's an actual lore reason for that I reconnected the dots to somewhat recently because I remembered a certain piece of lore. I can't talk about it yet. Not until chapter 6, but when I do, it's a doozy.
Mm-hmm.
It also explains why else he didn't survive too.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So are we really incapable of doing anything without them? Can't we even survive through a single trial? I don't know, dear. That isn't true. We can do this too. Think what Kokoro, Kanade, and Shobai would have done in a situation like this. Think what would they have come up with?
Uh-oh. I see them.
You saw those silhouettes. You saw the silhouettes. Good. I was
I
hoping
see
so.
them.
If I were them.
It is the queen and police boy.
Oh, I'm so fucking mad that basically my journey with Tsurugi was like a live action enemies to lovers. I'm pissed. I actually like his bitch ass now, and I can say that, and I hate it. Why do I like you of all people, you shithead?
it's
It's still out of all my favorites. I bully him the most because like I just can't pull away from that. It's like the foundation.
yeah, also
when it comes to him.
he's very fun to bully though.
Yeah, he is. Like, there's reasons I like him, of which I can't talk about yet. A lot of it is stuff that happens in 1 and like his character development. But because of everything I know in 2 that happens like between games, it kind of added on to that, and all the Q&As I know about him too. Unfortunately. So mad that I like him. Anyway, moving on. If I were them. Yuki, did you say something about the storage room?
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, we did find this body inside the storage room, right? I mean, it was in the east instead of the west, but yeah.
About the storage room. What do you think made it suddenly appear?
Yep. Suddenly appear?
When we first arrived on the 5th island, there was no door to the back of the storage room and the broadcasting room. We only took notice of it after the culprit's broadcasting. Wait, no. Even when we entered the west broadcasting room, there was no door behind Teria either.
I can't really remember how it was with all the commotion back then. No, she is right. When that video was being broadcasted onto Terrier's body, yeah, there was definitely no door behind him.
Was that so? I think I remember it, or not.
No, I'm positive. We only found the door only after the sprinklers had stopped.
Right. Whatever the culprit did, be it carrying Teria over or making the door appear, the only time they were able to do any of that was only during when the sprinklers were active.
But why? And how? Forgetting making Teria disappear, how would you be able to suddenly make a door appear out of a wall with nothing? Use brain.
Use brain. Use brain. Use brain.
Virtual world. I guess even that isn't gonna cut it this time, right?
Y'all can't just keep passing shit off as virtual world nonsense. Gotta add some logic in there too, or that shit's not gonna work. Me slipping into Teria for a minute, like, fuck. I know everyone heard it, but like, God.
Maybe there was some hidden mechanism within the room?
Girly pop.
Like, you know, in mangas, when you push a button, the wall moves to reveal a hidden space? Or something like that?
This is really the time to talk about manga. If you don't have the brains, then you should at least shut up.
Sorry.
Huh? I can't help but get the feeling that something's off. Part about the locked room mystery that we just solved.
Sora? Is something up? You've been staring up at the ceiling for quite a while.
Yoriko. Why sprinklers?
What?
The locked room mystery that we just solved. Why did they cause a fire to activate the sprinklers?
You guys are the ones who explained that to us, remember? They used the sprinklers to hook the film and hold the door shut.
That was only about how the sprinkler's shape and position were used. Can't create a locked room using only the projector and film without ever needing to cause a fire with friction from the yellow phosphorus.
Huh, you're right. Why would they suddenly cause a fire?
They cause the fire to activate the sprinklers. The question then shifts to why they'd set up such a convoluted mess just to activate the sprinklers. I mean, for one, they weren't in there, but two. Yeah. I recall you saying something about the water streams being strong enough to blind your sight. Perhaps they tried to do something in that time?
Or they wanted us to leave the broadcasting room to do something without being seen.
Do something without being seen. And what would that something even be? There wasn't anyone inside the broadcasting room to begin with, so even with the water blinding us, there wasn't anything secretive to be done. I think that activating the sprinklers itself was the point.
Activating the sprinklers itself.
I think irregularity that had happened in the sprinklers activation. These events must be connected. We've already solved the locked room mystery. We're not objecting that fact. We're only looking at it from a different angle. Tackle each question one by one, and we'll surely find the truth.
It's time for spaceship time.
Pooh boy. I mean,
Yeah.
thankfully we don't need to do much here.
You just answer questions with Sora's little spaceship body.
Yep, and hope that the game doesn't screw me over.
True. It's pretty fast this time, though. I remember Haw getting kind of annoyed with this one. It was moving a little fast.
Thankfully the hitboxes are pretty nice.
Yeah, the hitboxes are a little jank.
Achieved by
What
activating.
can the culprit achieve by activating the sprinklers? Wash something off, I think. Nice.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was this part. She was like, what the fuck? I always remember the Logic Craft sections because Ha was always like cursing. It was really funny to watch though. I have a better understanding of this hitbox though, so you're not having any problems whatsoever.
Blah. Blah.
I fucking jinx you, I'm so sorry. What did the culprit try to wash by activating the sprinklers?
Wall.
Whoa. Yeah.
Wall.
Oh.
Wee! Ouchie.
Oh my god.
That took away a lot.
Yeah, it did. It's because the yellow, it takes a lot more damage than the green does. And then the reds are instant death. Ooh. Hate that. Nice. Your gooch. Did the culprit try to wash the walls with water? Why did the culprit try to get rid of the drawing?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Good.
Dum, 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 dum.
I do like the track for Logic Craft, even though it's a bit... it's like you can't really enjoy it while you're trying to navigate. Alright.
By the way, we are overtime.
Yeah, I think there's... Let me check something real quick. think we're a little over halfway into the trial. Yeah. Next point is trial point 10, and there's only 16 trial points, and one of them is the closing argument.
Alrighty. Then I would say we stop things for now.
Yeah.
And continue next time.
Yeah.
I guess next time we're about to whoop some Iroha ass.
Yeah, most definitely.
So yeah, until then, goodbye.
Bye!